When Zac Efron appeared on Bold New Year's Eve Earth Day special in 2021, the internet practically exploded. Within hours, his name was trending everywhere, but not because of anything he said about climate change. Viewers couldn't focus on anything except his dramatically altered face. His jaw looked completely different, unnaturally wide and square, giving him a bloated appearance that was jarring compared to the chiseled heartthrob we'd known for years. Social media was merciless, with one viral tweet asking who plays Zac Efron with a cartoon villain. Honestly, it's giving like Johnny Bravo vibes. Another commented, I literally gasped when he came on the screen. What made this transformation so shocking wasn't just the change itself, but who it happened to. This wasn't just any actor, this was Zac Efron, the ultimate teen dream whose face had launched 1,000 magazine covers, whose smile had defined an entire generation's idea of male beauty. Seeing him look so dramatically different felt almost personal to fans who had grown up with his poster above their beds. Bullet point 2. The speculation was immediate and brutal. Plastic surgery rumors dominated every headline. What happened to Zac Efron's face? Became Google's top search related to the actor. Memes comparing him to the handsome Squidward from SpongeBob and Lord Farquaad from Shrek went viral within hours. Celebrities get scrutinized for their appearances all the time, but the reaction to Zac was particularly intense. It wasn't just gossip, it was open mockery. Late night hosts made jokes. TikTok was flooded with reaction videos, and even mainstream news outlets ran stories analyzing his facial structure. But this wave of cruel speculation lay a much darker story, one about Hollywood's impossible body standards. While women in Hollywood have long spoken about the pressure to maintain impossible appearances, male stars have largely suffered in silence, and no one exemplifies this better than Zac Efron, who's been modifying his body to meet industry demands since he was just a teenager. Okay, so if this story about Zac is blowing your mind as much as it did mine when I was researching it, please hit that subscribe button. I spent so much time diving into these celebrity stories to find the real truth behind the headlines, and there's so much more I want to share with you guys. Honestly, your likes and comments are what keep me motivated. If you're enjoying this, that like button is right there. It only takes a second, I promise, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you noticed any male celebrities going through similar transformations? Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Now let's get back to Zac's wild journey. Long before he was Hollywood's body transformation poster boy, Zac was a talented kid from St. Louis with big dreams. His parents noticed his natural talent early, enrolling him in singing lessons and local theatre productions. By high school, he was balancing small TV roles with maintaining a stellar 4.3 GPA. He says, I was so ready for college, man, Zac later revealed in an interview. I worked so hard, I got good grades, I had a 4.3 when I left high school, so I probably would have gone to be a doctor. But those plans evaporated when Disney came calling. What seemed like a modest TV movie, High School Musical, unexpectedly became a global phenomenon in 2006. Overnight, Zac transformed from an ambitious student into Disney's golden boy, competes with screaming fans and worldwide fame. The movie soundtrack topped Billboard charts. The sequel broke cable TV records with 17.2 million viewers. And by the time the third installment hit theaters, Zac couldn't walk down the street without causing hysteria. But even as his acting and singing talents were on the display, it was immediately clear what Hollywood valued most about him. His looks, his piercing blue eyes, perfectly tousled hair, and boyish charm became his most marketable assets. Magazine covers didn't highlight his vocal range or acting versatility. They showcased his smile, his hair, his increasingly toned physique. At just 18 years old, Zac learned the first rule of Hollywood success. Your body isn't really yours. It belongs to the audience, the studios, and the bottom line. Okay, but years, what's so messed up about Zac's early career? The poor guy literally couldn't escape being treated like a piece of meat in interviews. Like, imagine working your butt off on a role. There's the one painfully awkward interview where the older host is straight up flirting with him, saying, you're quite stunning in real life, and then asking if he likes older women. That's so cringe. Zac's just sitting there trying to be professional while she's basically drooling over him. If a male interviewer talked to a young actress this way today, he'd be cancelled immediately. And don't even get me started on the hair questions. In another interview, instead of asking about his character character development or the film's themes, the interviewer just goes, "How do you keep your hair looking so great all the time? I can't." Like, imagine asking Meryl Streep about her hair care routine instead of the Oscar-worthy performance. But with Zac, this was the norm. The one time an interviewer actually asked him about wanting to expand beyond his heartthrob image, they immediately shut him down, basically implying he should accept being eye candy forever. You could literally see the frustration on his face, but he stayed polite because what choice did he have? So Zac tries to break free from this teen idol box by taking on more serious roles, right? Polly St. Cloud playing a guy grieving his dead brother, then in The Lucky One as a traumatized Marine, and what does he do to pair? Massive physical transformation. For The Lucky One, he trained with actual Navy SEALs and gained like 20 pounds of muscle. In his mind, I think he genuinely believed that physically transforming would help see him as a serious actor, but it's totally backfired because all anyone talked about was the new body. The reviews like Zac Efron has muscles now, and the worst part, after putting all this work into these more challenging roles, he got completely snubbed by major award shows. No Golden Globe nomination, no Oscar buzz, nothing about the critics who determined serious acting careers. Instead, he won Teen Choice Awards, literally voted on by 13-year-olds and up. Can you imagine pouring your heart into a role about war, trauma, and grief only to be rewarded with a surfboard trophy voted on by teenagers? No wonder he started leaning into the physical stuff. Hollywood basically told him, "We don't care about your acting, we just want your body." And at some point, he seems to have just accepted this. 2014 MTV Awards was honestly one of the most uncomfortable moments in the award show history, and nobody even seemed to notice. Zac wins this award for the best shirtless performance, which is already so objectifying, it's ridiculous. And he made this playful deal on Twitter that if he beat Thor, he'd accept the award shirtless. So he goes up on stage, thanks his fans, and then Rita Ora literally runs up behind him and rips his t-shirt off without warning. The crowd goes wild like it's the greatest thing ever, and Zac just has to stand there flexing while everyone screams. Can we just take a second to imagine if this happened to a woman? If a male presenter ran up and tore off Jennifer Lawrence's top at an award show, there would be lawsuits, think pieces, and probably criminal charges. But because it's Zac, a dude with abs, is just considered hilarious entertainment. Clips were everywhere for days afterwards, not celebrating his acting achievement, but celebrating the fact that a woman could publicly undress him without consent while everyone cheered. The message was crystal clear. Your body is public property. But a Baywatch transformation, that's when things got genuinely scary. Like, we're not just talking about objectification anymore, we're talking about dangerous, potentially life-threatening body manipulation. When the first promo photos dropped, people couldn't believe how shredded he was. This wasn't just in good shape Zac. This was veins popping out of everywhere. Literally zero body fat Zac. For almost half the movie, he and The Rock are in this weird flex-off competition. It feels like watching two action figures come to life. But when we didn't know at the time was the horrifying reality behind the transformation. Years later, Zac finally admitted that to achieve this look, he was taking direct diuretics. I hope I'm saying that right. Literal prescription drugs that dehydrate your body to make your muscles look more defined. They are the same drugs that bodybuilders use before competitions that can cause kidney damage, heart problems, and electrolyte imbalances that can literally off you. Unalive you, let me say that. So aftermath, insomnia so bad he couldn't sleep for days, depression that took him months to shake. In his Hot Ones interview, he called the whole experience stupid and not real, and said he almost unalive. Those are his words, not mine. He literally said it took 6 months after filming just to start feeling normal again. And what thanks he got for risking his health. Baywatch flopped. Critics destroyed it. He was even nominated for a Razzie for Worst Actor. Imagine putting your body through actual hell, damaging your mental health, potentially causing long-term physical problems, and then being told you're the worst actor of the year. It's so twisted, I can't. Fast forward to 2021. After his jaw transformation shocked everyone, Zac stayed silent for over a year. No explanations, no social media posts addressing it, just silence. While the internet speculated wildly, his own mom reportedly called him asking if he had plastic surgery. Finally, in Men's Health, he gave his elaborate explanation about a 2013 home accident accident. According to Zac, he was running through his house in socks, relayed a slip, and smashed his chin on a granite fountain. He claims he blacked out and woke up with his chin bone hanging off his face. Doctors had to wire his jaw shut, and he was on a liquid diet for weeks. But years from the story, it's kind of weird. He says the accident happened in 2013, but his face didn't dramatically change until 2021. His explanation, he stopped doing the physical therapy exercises for his jaw muscles. Did it help you chew? Grew larger to compensate, completely changing his facial structure. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but this timeline doesn't really add up. If the accident was 2013, why did his face suddenly change 8 years later? The muscles getting bigger might explain some fullness in the jaw area, but the completely different shape of his face. Medical experts online were like, that's not really how facial muscles work. But here's the thing, we have to consider why Zac might not want to share the whole truth. For years, his entire career and identity have been tied to his appearance. He's been judged, objectified, and reduced to his physical attributes. The pressure to maintain an impossible standard of male beauty has literally been the defining factor of his career. If he decides to get work done, whether for role or personal reasons, can we really blame him after everything Hollywood has put him through? The saddest part was watching this interview where someone questioned his explanation and Zac just looked exhausted and said, it sucked, almost unalive. But we're good. That's not the response of someone who's at peace with what happened. That's someone who's tired of being defined by their appearance but knows they can't escape it. Okay, so here's what things that actually sad about Zac's whole situation. The Iron Claw should have been his breakthrough moment as a serious actor. He literally transformed himself completely to play Kevin, but not just physically but emotionally. Critics were like, finally, wait, this guy can really act? The movie got solid reviews and his performance was highlighted one of the strongest elements. But what dominated the conversation? His body. Again, still, always. Every interview, every review, every social media post about the film had to mention his physique. The top comments weren't, wow, Zac captured the emotional trauma. But bro, his arms are insane. And what's up with his face though? I'm sorry, but that is so messed up. Can you imagine working this hard on a character, diving into the psychology of a man who lost multiple brothers to really giving it your all? I want to talk about after is whether he took steroids to get big. That has to be so soul crushing. Also a heartbreaking moment in an interview where he's talking about the emotional preparation for the role, and the interviewer interrupts him to ask about his workout routine. You can literally see him deflate for a second before putting on some practice smile. After nearly 2 decades in the industry, he's still not being seen for his talent first. I think that's a real tragedy here. Hollywood created this monster where Zac's value is so tied to his appearance that even when he delivers his best work, nobody can see past physical. The most disturbing part of this whole situation is realizing that what happened to Zac isn't rare. It's just more visible because of how extreme his transformations have been. Think about it. This guy has been modifying his body for roles since he was basically a teenager. From the lean heartthrob in High School Musical to the Navy SEAL bulk up to the dangerously shredded Baywatch physique to whatever happened with his face and the rest of the world. That's years and years of putting the body through extreme stress, all because Hollywood told him that's what he is worth. The health consequences are no joke. He's openly admitted to taking, and here's what makes me more upset about this whole situation. We talk about the pressure on women in Hollywood all the time, as we should, but men like Zac are suffering in silence. When actresses speak out about body image pressure, they get support. When male actors admit to dangerous body modifications, they're either ignored or worse, expected to give workout tips. What started as a Disney teen's dream to be taken seriously as an actor ended with him potentially permanently altering his appearance and health just to stay relevant. If that doesn't expose the toxicity of Hollywood's body standards, I don't know what does. The saddest part, Zac never needed any of these extreme transformations to be talented. He was always gifted performer, but Hollywood convinced him and all of us body was more important than his craft. And until we start valuing actors for their talent instead of their appearance, the cycle will just keep repeating the next generation of stars. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe so I can bring you more. Bye!